Well, one of the major benefits is obviously getting away from the computer, sitting at a desk in a static state and getting out there in the countryside, the great British countryside, but not necessarily the great British weather, and doing some fishing. And that's what I did when I was a kid. Do you know why? There were no computers. That's true. No computers around when I was a youngster. We had to make our own amusement. We did, however, have still cameras, and that gave us the benefit of recording our catches whenever we caught anything, which was not very often. My main inspiration myself was magazine writing, which I used to write for the magazines. Now, maybe the written word is not as popular as it was. I mean, when I talk to people, they don't really, perhaps, go that route to get the information they want on fishing. They want the visual factor. But for me personally, the visual factor back then was stills photography. We didn't do videos. The facility of YouTube wasn't around. We used magazines to get, out to the public, to the beginners, to the novices, and teach them, if we could, what to do. And you had a sequence of photographs. Now, of course, with the video, you've got moving pictures. So if you were, for example, tying a fishing knot in stills photography, that's quite difficult, doing all the different turns and when you pulled it. But for videos, it's much easier. It's moving all the time. That's easy. Just don't care what you say or do up to a certain level. Obviously, you need to be natural. Everybody gets nervous with a camera in front of them. I've done a little bit of live TV on news programmes. Man alive, that is mortifyingly shocking. That is nerve-wracking when you've got people talking in your ears, live cameras, satellite things, all that gizmos and gadgets. But look, guys, if you're out there, you're with a cheap camera, you're with a mobile phone, anything like that, it's just a memory card. That's all it is. The word is there, memory. That means you can erase it if you don't like it and do it again, until you do get a clip that you do like. But the main thing is to try and get confident. And I tell you what, the way I think about it, sometimes sort of attack it, as it were, and really go for it, and you'd be surprised. The other thing is, learn when to stop talking. Well, of course you can. The facilities are there with the modern technology to get really good photography with some of the phones. Of course, you might be let down a little bit the sound. I mean, I'm not really big on phones. That used to be my early smartphone. About half a brick's worth. Now, of course, there are a lot of youngsters out there, they can't possibly afford or get mum and dad to buy them the very best in camera equipment. The mobile phone technology today does have the facility to give you good quality recordings, providing you put those packages of edits together to make a little story. I think they could come up with something pretty good. Of course it is, because the word in editing is edit, be ruthless, cut out the whiffle waffle. You've got to get down to factual stuff. For instance, are you going to do an instructional? Are you going to do some arty sort of talk about it? But whatever you do, do it in 1 or 2 sentences and then cut it out and go for it again. Don't try and do it all in one big long talk, because it will invariably turn to wet rice and go horrible. Well, listen, the world's your oyster out there, because we know there's a lot of youngsters from our own show. Just the replies we get, they go beach fishing, they go boat fishing, some of them. There's fly fishing, there's coarse fishing, all types of fishing. The whole range is there for you to try. And if you want, you can do an instructional one, for instance. You can tell somebody how to tie a fishing knot. It doesn't always have to be about catching fish. Some of our biggest hitting films are about instructionals, not necessarily giant, great, big, huge fish, although it would be nice. So don't forget, you can use the artistic approach, the instructional approach. You can just be straight honest and say, this is a sort of diary of my fishing day. I break it down into 3 sections. Basically, you want a good storyline. You've got to be able to think you're actually talking to somebody with pictures. The other thing you're going to need are what we call cutaways. So if you do have a segment of, let's say, 30 seconds, which is quite a long time to talk, without messing up, then you want to be able to cut over the top of that some pictures. For instance, if you're talking about a certain type of fishing reel and how you might be loading up with line, just do a close-up shot of this being You don't have to talk over this, by the way. How you're doing this, how you're doing that, and then edit that over your talk, and it breaks it up. It stops the viewer getting too bored. The other thing, and that comes from my 40 or 50 years of doing stills photography, is framing. You've seen them do this in the cameras, you know, they do all this business. Well, what they're doing is trying to get an idea of frame, what fits in either a horizontal frame or vertical. Now, some cameras obviously are taken vertically, probably the phones do a lot of the time, but a proper film camera is going to do it in a horizontal format. So you want to think what's going to go in that picture before you press the button. If I was one of those youngsters trying to make a film, what I would personally do is to try and get a form of instructional in there. It doesn't matter if you haven't got a great deal of confidence about that particular thing you're talking about. You have to make yourself have confidence in it and come across with some form of authority. Do you know what, youngsters? If you're out there, pretend you're the teacher and picture yourself as the teacher telling a bank of school children there what they should be doing and how they should be doing it. That's the way I would set it out myself. Well, from Graeme and Mike at the Totally Awesome Fishing Show, we wish you guys the best of luck. Get out there, enjoy it, don't be afraid what you send us. I'm not going to go mad, I'm really going to enjoy it because it's the next generation of people coming through, and that's what we try and do with our show, is to get that enthusiasm, get off that computer, boys, get out there, and, well, actually, you've still got to come back to the computer to put it all together. Oh dear. Well, it's fun though, isn't it?